Hello and welcome back to the Civilization Caveman the Cosmos series that I am doing. This is episode 2, and we're pretty much continuing off where we left off. And where I left off was we settled Moscow. We've got all this interesting space on this island that I was not prepared for. But I said I was going to work with it, so I'm going to work with it. So, it's not a good start. It's not the best start. But we'll make it work. So all I'm doing is pretty much doing what I was doing beforehand, and I'm just letting everything automate itself. Pretty much, there's nothing we can really do, and I don't even think any animals will spawn in very often on this island. But who knows? One just spawned in. It's a viper, so we never know. Aside from trying to make this work, what we're definitely going to be doing is working on a grand Russian fleet. At this point, that's pretty much the only military that we're going to be able to have is a grand military fleet, grand navy fleet, and everything else. So all of my invasions will probably be like England, all naval invasions. I have to land units. I have to do this and that. I'm hoping that's not going to be the biggest form of things that I got to do, because that's going to make things a little rough. But we'll see. So right now I'm going to get spices here. With spices you could do this, but the yield for a seed camp won't do much. So you always want to choose either a fruit gathering camp or anything like that. You'll have all the sorts of different improvements and stuff like that, and it's just gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm not really sure what the end game is gonna look like. I am absolutely gonna be ecstatic to see what that looks like. If you're gonna promote something as Cosmos and give me parallel dimensions and shit like that, you might as well tell me I'm gonna get on off-world. But I don't think it's gonna allow me to go off-world. I think it's just gonna be all in one map. But hey, you know, I don't know these things. I haven't got there. I'm pretty much running blind through this mod. So, we'll see. So, sometimes, as you can see here, we have a subdued lizard. Sometimes when your hunters kill animals, those animals can have a chance to be subdued. Now, subduing animals is one of the biggest things that you can do in the early game, because all you can really do with them is to increase your culture gain. And increasing your culture gain means increasing your border and score and research. As you can see here, folklore, lizard, plus 1 science, but really what it's actually doing is giving me 0.12 research and 0.10 culture, and it will increase the more improvements I have. Now you can use the folklore, or there was another one there that's just pure straight culture when used, but you won't gain any other benefit. Now, since we're pretty much the only one on this island, I'm not sure if this score is correct. But I will say that it might be correct. I haven't met anybody yet. So, we'll see how long that lasts. I should technically go for sailing as fast as possible, try to get my boats as fast as possible, but I don't think I'm gonna learn. I don't think any of these can be used as transports. I don't think they can be used as transports. I can see though. Fishing, we have workboats, but I want to see canoes. Can canoes be used for transports? Can I enter oceans, seas? Okay. It does not say anything about transport. What is this? Okay, so all these here can be used as transports. Do we have anything early? No. We don't have anything early transport. Except canoe, galley, and raft. Alright. So let's see, rafts can be used as transport. I'm not gonna get rafts right away. I still need to get tribes anyway, so I'll get tribes and then rafts and see if I can't put a tribe on a raft. See what they can find. Hopefully there's another island or continent, a bigger continent around me that I'm not aware of yet.
When elephant steps on a trap?
There is no trap. That's true. Okay, folklores are about done. How much? Okay. So we have here gold stars represent world wonders. Silver star means national wonders. And I believe the purple one means temporary wonders. So as you can see, they go pretty much obsolete after a quick while. Now what I want to get is, since we're the only ones here, gold really doesn't mean much. So we'll go ahead for that one, and then we'll just fill out the rest of the build slots with this, because we can't really make anything else. I'm not competing against other nations. I'm not in any rush to get anything completed. So it's all about culture and trying to get my research up as quick and fast as possible. So that's pretty much going to be our focus for this episode, is just to improve until we can't improve anymore for this episode, which, again, I'm doing this in 30-minute increments, so it can change at any point in time, just depends on how people feel about the series. But since I'm still rather small, I'm going to take my time with it. Even if it means I have to make another 100 episodes about this one mod, which might end up becoming the case. I've already have 100 videos on the channel for World of Warcraft, and that didn't yield too much.
The ground was stone.
But I'm not giving up on it, obviously. I'm going to still do streams on Twitch and on YouTube, so that way I can at least broaden my approach to everything. I might actually set up a a Twitter account, or an X, whatever you want to call it, for my channel. That way I can actually promote to Twitter. So, hey, you know, at this point, anything probably could work. So, we're gonna go with it.
But ironically, my two daughters tell me my taste in music is positively prehistoric.
Indeed it is. Okay, so we got the LL Kilgi Gawe. We just want it for the production. Everything usually takes one turn to build, or 2 turns. So the excess production gets put onto the actual queue list. So this thing is pretty nifty. It's pretty unique. Since Civ4 is not programmed properly to allow things to be built in 1 turn, per se, unless you are really stretching out as much as you can with your production, you don't tend to see this in a normal game, so to speak. So when you have an overflow of production, what normally happens is you'll sacrifice the resources that was remaining into gold. That way you can still profit off of it. But in this mod, if you're building buildings, that's still the case. But if you're building units, and if you have an overflow of production, you can actually build up to 3 to 4 units per turn, so that the extra production is not wasted. So you definitely want to get as much buildings with production, culture, science, and gold as much as possible to improve everything in your civilization. Because this will not only help you culturally or research-wise, it can also help you militarily and to keep people away from your borders. All of it is all good as much as you can make it, essentially. So it's the little things, it's the tips and tricks that you can get with this mod that I have discovered thus far that I can use to, at least to help clear up some of the stuff. At least to help with that. Now, as you can see here, what I talked about earlier is that resources will gradually spawn in as you go up in your research and stuff. And as you saw here, fine clay just found itself in my border, within my borders. So it needs a stone kit, um, stone tools workshop. So all we got to do now is just build a gatherer. Of course, I'm going to build gatherers to fill out the rest of the slots as much as I can. Unfortunately, I don't really have any slots here that I can improve. I don't think I can improve any of these slots or this slot. I know I can probably get that one if I get woodworking, if I run across it. I can put a stone tool workshop here. I can put one here. And I can get... These are mangroves. I don't know if I can get mangroves. Not yet. So, yeah, just... all it is just getting as much stuff as possible. As you can see, more buildings are popping up. I want to get Capture Fire. Capture Fire is one of the greatest national wonders that you can grab for its, well, +5 culture and +1 health and happiness. Really, it's a benefit. Because in the early game, your civilization can get sick really easily. And to mitigate as much of that sickness and food growth as possible, you want to... it's all about your cities. How most civilization games work is that the higher population you have, the more production that you can gain, more everything. Research, culture. It's all based on your city's population. This still applies here. And we just got ourselves a lot of food. Holy crap, +8 food. That just boosted up a little notch, but that little notch always makes a difference. Because right now, Moscow is only improving in one, I think, slot. Yeah. It's only improving here on this slot. It's not really getting much food output because we don't have any slots here that can give us a lot of food necessarily. So any event that gives us food and whatnot is always going to be a benefit. Poison crafting. Yeah, not too bad. We have completed the National Wonder, Capture Fire. These buildings are very useful to the cities. Always plan ahead, as 2 National Wonders can be built in each one. So you can only have 2 National Wonders in this mod in one city. So creating another city definitely helps out with pretty much building the wonders. Now, we have creation of myth. Awesome. That makes things a little bit more interesting culturally. Always a good thing. Always a good sign. Piercing allows us to set for charge promotions against mounted on spear units, which I've yet to use because most nations that I've fought in my other game to test things out didn't really provide much. So there's a volcano on this island. A volcano is erupting. Do I even have a volcano on this island? I don't think I do. Now, in a perfect world, it tells me that the world in this perfect world map has been edited to where it can allow for monsoons and for storms and for pretty much the world to transform a lot more than it's usually does in any other map. But we'll see that for sure. We will definitely see what happens with that. I do want to do other Civilization series. I definitely do want to show Civilization 3 and my favorite mod, Age of Imperialism. One of my favorite mods. I do have a few videos of a series I did a long time ago on my old PC before it, bit the dust. A friend sent me a video game and it pretty much corrupted my hard drive and destroyed it, practically melted down. Not very good. Yeah, be careful what you install. And don't install too many things. I have a habit of doing that. I'm surprised this computer has not bit the dust yet with how much stuff I've put on it. Yeah. So, pretty much, since I'm not really worried about any everything else, I guess, pretty much just build gathering. Gatherers is pretty much the only thing I can build right now. I'm not competing. I can't grow yet until I get tribes. So, it's gonna be a pretty boring start. Not gonna lie. I won't lie. It's definitely gonna be a rather boring start. Okay, I don't think I can build pretty much anything else. Nothing else. But I can put a road there. I definitely, well, road, it's trail. It evolves into roads, paved roads, railroads, etc. Concrete roads or something. Since I don't have anything else I can technically build, I guess we can build a little bit of a military, but there's really nothing else I can build. So we'll build a couple storytellers, a couple spiked clubmen, and after that, just meager research, because there's really nothing else I can do. Now, with storytellers can improve entertainment, so it can improve culture. Allows for faster culture, and as you can see here, there's a little fist. It says to the nearest city. What that does is decrease revolt or increase revolts. Now, if I had another city beside me and it was not my city at all, I could use entertain city in one of my cities, and any bordering city that's near that city has a chance to start revolting because my culture would be taking into it. So as you can see here in this lower corner of, well, you can't see because it's right there, but right beside my head, there's a little label here that says 100% Russian, owner Russian, Moscow, etc. Now, if you decide, if there's another city that's in close proximity within the little cross area, it will have like 53% Russian or 50 or 48%, no, 47% another culture. If your culture starts outshining another city's culture, you will start to increase influence in that city. And when you increase influence in that city, those cities can break down. They'll revolt until eventually the city can start collapsing into revolt. And when it successfully revolts 2 times, and I mean 2 times if it revolts in your favor or against your favor in that case, depending on which the situation is, you will lose that city or they will lose that city, and you can take it by force because it culture flips. Now, you will also have to deal with the consequences of that. Most civilizations in the game in the easier difficulties will tend to overlook it. There'll be like -3 diplomatic points for it. But in the harder versions of the game, there is a chance that they will fight you for that to come back to their culture. So, keep that in mind. It's a good thing, sometimes it's not a good thing. It just depends. But as you can see, using 4 storytellers, I have increased my borders to the next to last expansion, in which you can take advantage of all of these new tiles, which is always good. Now, the city population will not be able to work on any of these tiles, but you will still gain the benefit of those tiles. So keep that in mind, that if you improve something that gives you like +8 food, but the city can't reach it, don't get too mad about it. It's just how it works. So you can see here with this little cross area, you can see partially on what tiles can be worked on right now. When I start getting seafaring technology, it'll pretty much complete the cross. But right now, Moscow can only reach up to here. Even though my little cross is now extended outwards on this border, it will never ever reach it. It just can't. It'll never reach it, never will. So the hope that it might, it's just not going to happen. So I'm going to build a couple more gatherers and go back to meager research, because we're going to be using these to build that, and then we're going to take the other gatherer down here to get these mangoes, and then I'll get one of the other gatherers to build a plant gathering camp there, and then see what else I can improve around. Do be careful with your gatherers. Animals, wild animals, such as like this mandrill here, can and will attack gatherers if you are not careful. If they're not building or doing something like that, they will fight them and kill them. So do keep in mind that you might think, oh, that gazelle is an herbivore, it's not going to fight it. It will fight it. It will kill your workers, kill your gatherers. It can't kill workers, it can't kill settlers, it can't kill tribes, unless it's a bear or something like that, a predator. So keep in mind, that's always going to be the case. Pro tips by me. It's not even a pro tip because I'm not really good at this game. Not good at this mod yet. Yeah, just keep in mind the animals can sometimes pillage things. And they can pillage things when you least expect it, because you'll never know if it's going to happen. So, yes, just fair warning. Just fair warning. Now, meager research and stuff like that, meager research, meager wealth, all this kind of stuff only converts 30% of your production into a set resource. So when it's a set resource like that, you don't have to necessarily stick on it. I don't have any build slots, and I have no reason to build any more units than I already have to explore this land. So it's pretty much something to fall back on. Yeah. It's not the ideal way to play it. Now, if you decide to play this mod for yourself and play this game for yourself, you'll have a different experience from me, surely. And I guarantee that you'll probably have a better start than me. just guaranteed. Just guaranteed. Maybe. Now, sometimes the apples can't kill you. They do have a set strength. And sometimes humans are stronger together, but not always. It's definitely to keep an eye out and to just make sure that your units are still patrolling, still hunting. You don't want the whole land that you're trying to get covered up with your culture and stuff like that is going to have a lot of entities on it to block your path. Now, as you can see, marble just showed up. Another fine clay showed up. We got bamboo up here. Now, bamboo is very interesting. Military units can take advantage of bamboo if you have it in your culture and you have a work tool workshop, stone tools workshop. You'll get a little buff here next to, like, say for example, city garrison. This is your promotions. Any unit, if you have this within the border of a city or next to a city that can work on it, you'll have an extra thing called bamboo armor, and it gives you pretty much minus 10% to enemy attacks or something like that. So keep in mind that there are some resources that you don't think you can take advantage of, but you can definitely take advantage of. It is definitely something for me to say so that people who wish to play it can do it. Now, elder councils are very important. Take elder councils. You don't really need harems unless you're an Isekai fan. But as you can see here, you get sickness if you have tobacco and alcohol within it. You can get +1 if you do it with trade. +5 biohazard, which means people can get sick from this very easily, which it makes sense. But it says here +2 food. It makes no sense to me why you can get food from it. I don't even want to get into that conversation. Unless, of course, you're, like, cannibalistic. But, hey, whatever. It's +2 growth is essentially what it is, not food. Greatest civilization. See, most advanced civilizations in the world. I'm not on that list. So that's why I'm like, I don't know if these lists are real or true and whatnot. But if you're on an island, you have to do everything you can to make sure that you can get as much research as possible. Because you won't have people to trade with, so you won't have techs to trade for. But you can easily survive. But it's just, you're taking security by being on an island while also dumbing down your nation, because you're not getting any trade, you're not getting any science trades. So it's all warning. Just throwing it out there. You might think my start is great, but I can assure you and I can tell you it is not great at all. At all. It's pretty terrible. But when I get tribes, I could, as I said, I can make the most of it if I get tribes. And I can make it definitely work to my advantage if I have to. We're going to go with meager research over the meager culture. I don't really necessarily need any more culture because I have the most I'm going to get. So after you get your second cross and your final cross, you really don't need to pay attention to your culture anymore. The Venus of Willendorf. The ideal female body, of quotes, as scientists have stated. Tree carvings and stuff like that. Yep, we'll just do all those buildings as soon as I get them, just so that we can keep on top of that. They still can't kill that viper. That sucks. One of our tribe has accidentally found a way to get more digestible food by putting it into a fire. Congratulations, guys. You figured out how to cook. Amazing how that works. Now, I am losing stone throwers, which is fine. I've made as many stone throwers as I can. They're not the greatest at all. They're pretty terrible. So don't even worry about them. The less units that you have going into the second era, the better. Each one of these units will cost maintenance. As you can see, I have +3. It was +2 until I lost those units, and then it went to +3. So you do have maintenance costs for units and such. I'm used to Civilization 3, where you don't need any of that. So we got a great general. It takes 49 combat or 49 unit experience to get the next one. So great generals are great. You can become military instructors, which means any unit that comes out of the city will be upgradable right out the gate. It's like a barracks before getting a barracks, a proper barracks. So the veterancy stuff does really work in this mod, and sometimes it can be a life and death situation when you come down to it. Because in my other games I found out that when you're trying to fight a city that has like 4 units in it, 4 defenders in it, your stack of 16 units might not stand a chance at all because they have a bazillion different increases in defense promotions because of the great generals that the AI will get and use. So use that to your advantage. Full advantage of that, because it will kick your butt if you don't. Bada bing, bada ba. Slowly making our way up there. We got bread making. As you can see, the research texts are now becoming less one turn, which is why I'm going for meager research to at least reduce all of that. Wild parrots. Ba 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 ba. All right. So, let's see. Games is next. Games is a good early tech, I admit. Strongly admit. Because it gives a lot of culture and money. Paves the way for gambling. And gambling is great. No, it's not. I don't support gambling at all. But it's good for civilization to have. And with games, there'll be some animals that you can subdue and tame, and you can bring back to the cities, and you can use them for quote-unquote game purposes, which can give you a lot of culture. So, Everything's a bonus, even if you don't think it is. And I've hit the timer for this video. It has been 30 minutes, and I'm going to end today's episode off like this. And until my next episode, everybody take care. Happy New Year, because it is the first year of this recording. And until next time, peace out.